Let's go to the scene right now. Our reporter Kiran Dhillon is there to update us on everything, and we just can't imagine what the shoppers and employees went through hearing those shots fired. Kiran?
Yeah, good afternoon, Dana. We are here where it's still very much an active scene in West Hempstead. You can see behind me, actually, that this road that leads right to the Stop and Shop in question is still blocked off because this is an investigation that continues. And as you said, we were able to speak to several of those employees when we got here a short while ago, and many of them say they're completely terrified. They're horrified. They're still in shock, many of them, by what happened. Some of them say, we spoke to one woman actually who says she got here, she was in the stop and shop, and she was working at the front at the register, and a customer was with her gathering her things when all of a sudden they heard 5 to 6 gunshot wounds coming from upstairs. They believe they were coming from the manager's office. And so, as you can imagine, everybody rushed outside, really trying to get to safety. They were going into their cars, trying to get cover. We also spoke to a woman who says she was just getting to the store. She was about to go in when she saw a ton of people running out, just terrified, Dana, for their lives. And she says somebody stopped her, a man, and said, "Honey, don't go inside. There is an active shooter. You need to leave." And so she got into her car and drove around the corner where she stopped, where there was more of a police presence, and is now luckily in a safe location. We also spoke to, Dana, a grandmother who told me that she was with her granddaughter. The granddaughter didn't want to go on camera, but she says that they were on their way here to this Stop and Shop because it was the granddaughter's first day of work at this store. And she started at 12 noon. The shooting happened around 11:30. And so they heard about it on the radio, and luckily they didn't go in. They just stopped on the side of the road. They were in shock. The grandmother says that they actually do have another family member who works inside the Stop and Shop. They were able to get a hold of that person, that cousin, speak to them. Luckily, they were okay, but they were locked down inside for a short time. So for that family as well, just a horrific experience, but they're glad everybody's okay. As you said, though, we know that 3 people were shot. One of them, a 49-year-old male employee, is now dead after this shooting.
Kiran, and we know that the other 2 people who were wounded, the police commissioner says that those people were conscious and they were able to talk to police and give some sense of what was going on. Have you heard any more about them?
Yeah, exactly, Dana. So the police commissioner said that we believe that the shooter may have been an active or a former employee. And so for that reason, it's believed that some of the employees may have known him, or they may have a description of him. And that might be how police were able to release his identity and a photo of him so quickly after the shooting. And so, as you said, those 2 employees that were shot and wounded are at an area hospital. They are active, alert, and speaking to investigators right now.
So, Kiran, where you are, and you laid this out for us at the beginning of your report, so we see, obviously, reporters have been moved back. We also know in the area, the West Hempstead School District announced a lockout, meaning that the school buildings, the doors are locked. They said to parents, please don't come there. Everybody is safe. Adelphi University urging anyone on its campus in nearby Garden City to shelter in place. All of this while this person is still out there. I heard something about, did he possibly get on a bus? Unclear. Do you know anything else? And just let's give the description of, and also if we could put the photo up again of Gabriel DeWitt Wilson as we talk about him. Kiran?
Yes, for sure, Dana. So as you said, we have heard from officials here in this area because this is still an open investigation and they believe the suspect in this case remains at large. The gunman remains at large. Officials are asking people, as you said, that the schools are on lockdown, but they're also asking residents in the area to remain inside until the suspect in this case is caught. So as you said, there's a lot of commotion. Where we are actually, though, I can say that there are a lot of people outside. These buildings around us, directly around the Stop and Shop, don't appear to be locked down. People are outside. They're asking questions. They're gathering where the media and police are. So I can assume that they feel safe, but overall, the officials here in Nassau County are asking people to stay inside, please. We will tell you when it is safe to come outside. Now, you mentioned that shooter in question as well, or a suspect in connection to this case. Police have identified him as Gabriel DeWitt Wilson as a person of interest in this case. As I mentioned before, he's believed to be a current or former employee of the store, and we believe police say that He left the scene carrying a black handgun. He's described as 30 years old, 6'2", and was last seen heading west on the Hempstead Turnpike. So again, police are really asking residents in this case to be on the lookout, and anyone with information to call them.
And you know, also, Kiran, I mean, how can we not think about what else is going on in the country? And that feeling, as you were speaking with employees and shoppers, of it can't happen here, can it? And it can. So we certainly empathize with everybody there and their fears. The store, we know, is closed. Are police doing their investigation in the parking lot? I know there are a lot of different types of officers and vehicles and things like that. Is the scene as chaotic as it was at the beginning, right after 11:30 or after 11:19, I believe, when this happened?
Yes, Dana. You know, because it is an active investigation right now, it is still quite chaotic, as you said. You know, this road here that leads to the Stop and Shop is blocked off, as I mentioned earlier. And I actually went around the building, and I was able to find a large group of people that were gathered. Many people seemed very upset, a lot of tears, people just being held back by police. And so from what I was able to gather there was a lot of employees from the store, customers that had been inside the store, just trying to really gather themselves, and investigators were going one by one talking to people. So again, very much an active investigation. As I said earlier, police do believe they know the suspect or somebody that is identified as a suspect in this case, but because he has not been apprehended, they're really asking people to remain alert and vigilant and call them if they have any information.
Okay, Kiran Dhillon there for us outside the Stop and Shop at the Cherry Valley Shopping Center in West Hempstead, New York. Kiran, thank you so much. We will get back to you with more information. I also just wanted to tell you about the president of Stop and Shop, Gordon Reed, which is the president of Giant Food, has put a statement out as well, saying our hearts go out to the families of the victims, our associates, customers, and the first responders who have responded heroically to this tragic situation. At this time, we are cooperating fully with local law enforcement on the investigation. The store will remain closed until further notice. We appreciate the Long Island community's support during this difficult time. That the president of the company owning the Stop and Shop. So as we continue, of course, we will stay on the situation here. The shooting at the Stop and Shop grocery store in West Hempstead, Long Island, happened, police say, the commissioner said 11:19. One person has been killed, 2 others injured. Police are searching for a suspect who they believe to be armed and dangerous. And again, the shooting happening in a manager's office on the 2nd floor. The police commissioner saying there were a couple hundred, if not more, shoppers and employees in the store, but they heard shots. They said they heard 5 to 6 shots. Stay with us here on CBSN New York for the latest information. We'll have updates on this shooting tragedy throughout the afternoon.